And now we hear, and has this surprised you, Simon, even this early? Reports this morning that Tottenham have made contact with Julian Nagelsmann's representative, and now, in due course, are starting the process of finding a successor to Conte, who left the club on Sunday night.
Well, you can run both arguments. If they weren't looking for successors, there'll be a narrative saying, what are they doing? If they are looking at successors, then they're being a bit precipitous. Look, I suggested and floated the idea that Nagelsmann, wait, what about Spurs? And everyone sort of went, what about that? The fact he's spoken to them previously, the big thing for Daniel, insofar as Daniel is the determining factor in what success Tottenham have, is how he interacts with the person coming through the door. He will have learned, lessons, I'm sure, from employing two, on paper, heavyweight managers that were nailed-on winners. And neither one of them have delivered an outcome. And everyone will blame Daniel, and that's fine. I'm not going to get into that dispute for the purpose of this conversation. But what he will have learned from that is, I've got to find someone that can embody what I want to achieve and achieve something with it. Now, if Nagelsmann fits obviously the young man is a very capable individual. He's 35 years of age. There's debates about his personality and how he gets on with people. So if he doesn't get on with a Bayern Munich crowd because of certain things, there's a distinct possibility he might not get on with Daniel Levy. But the bottom line is, the guy seems to be a very top manager. And again, Spurs will want a top manager. They need a top manager, but they need a top manager that can complete some form of task that builds to a point where Tottenham can actually win something.
Right.
And push back on this argument that nobody cares about winning anything. They only care about being inside the top four.
We're gonna find out more about Nagelsmann in the next part. From Germany, we're going to be speaking to the German broadcaster, extremely articulate Konstantin Eckner. He joined us last week. Konstantin is ready to go, and he'll join us shortly on all things Nagelsmann. Let me ask you this, Simon, this morning. One or two people asked me last night, is the Tottenham job still an appealing one in world football?
Of course it is. They're a top 5 Premier League side. Top 4 Premier League side. They finished,
but they're not serial winners.
No, neither are lots of football teams that people want to go and manage and be in the Premier League and manage one of these big football clubs. And you've got big names. Carlo Ancelotti went and managed Everton, for God's sakes. What was the last thing they won? So of course there's appeal for these football clubs. Of course there's a determination to be inside there. And like everybody else, everybody that signed George Best, everybody that signed Paul Gascoigne thought, I'll get a tune out of these fellas that other people couldn't have done. I'll be able to manage this personality in his disruptive ways. So everybody will believe that I'll be able to go into Tottenham and I'll be able to want to win something, and I'll be the one to be able to work for Daniel Levy. People take the Watford job left, right and centre. Right, there's a queue of people every time Watford sacks somebody for another job to be available to another manager that's known by people.
You're right. Nobody says no thanks.
And a Tottenham job is a big job. 200 million. Whether Spurs fans agree with me or not, and I'm sure a lot of them don't, 200 million pounds in 3 transfer windows for Antonio Conte isn't chopped liver. It's 200 million quid.
Yeah.
The fact that Conte is the big story, and the fact that he wants to put out press releases how wonderful he was bitching about the Tottenham fans a week ago. Now, all of a sudden, he wants to thank them for their support.
But is there not a chance, Simon, that Nagelsmann looks at it and thinks, I'm just checking out what's going on before me. Why did it not work out for Conte? Why did it not work out for Mourinho?
If I was a top-flight manager and I was looking at my options and Real Madrid were an option, I'd take Real Madrid over Tottenham if Real Madrid were an option, right? Because Real Madrid are a different football club with a different dynamic, and they operate in a league where either they or Barcelona win the league, right? Let's have it right.
Right.
So I'll take Real Madrid. If I was a top-flight manager looking around wanting to manage in the Premier League and the options were Tottenham and not many other people, I would back myself to be the difference between what other people have achieved and ultimately what I could achieve. I'd go in there and say, I'm the difference. I'll be the difference. I'll bring this chairman with me one way or t'other. I'll get Daniel Levy to see the error of his ways. I'll get Daniel Levy to give me more money than other people have been able to achieve. I'll build a football club with him. I'll understand the dynamics of what I'm being brought in to achieve. I'll work with the ownership model, and then I'll bring an outcome, maybe like Arteta's done.
That's probably what Conte thought, though, Simon, when he went in there.
Yeah, but Conte is a completely different character. Conte is a combustible, in the moment, temperamental personality that is all about himself. You need to have the balance between being all about yourself and being about the others as well. And the others mean managing up, managing down. Supposedly, all of these managers can manage down. A lot of them can't manage up. Well, seemingly, Conte can't manage down either, because he's done nothing but slaughter his own players, done nothing but create a culture inside that football club that looks like every single part of it. Whichever window you look through at Tottenham, according to Conte, it's a losing mentality.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Conte is no longer of the Tottenham parish. He is back in Italy and no doubt getting on with his life, and no doubt we will see him sooner than later in another high-profile position, because that's what Antonio Conte does. But what about this man, Julian Nagelsmann? What is he all about?
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.